Let's get back to our coverage of President Biden's trip to Greater Cincinnati. The president toured a manufacturing facility in Hamilton today.
That's right, Stephen. The president was here. He chose United Performance Metals in Hamilton as his backdrop. The administration today introduced a new program, additive manufacturing, basically those 3D technology capabilities that companies are using to bring manufacturing to the new century, to the next level. And the president made it clear America needs to step its game up when it comes to manufacturing to compete with countries like China, where most of our manufacturing is done. And so the president gathered executives from big companies like Lockheed Martin, Honeywell, and Raytheon to get with this partnership for the AM program to help those smaller manufacturing companies across the country get on board with the manufacturing of today. Let's listen to what he had to say about partnering together.
In my State of the Union address, I called it a field of dreams, where America's future is going to be built. And I quoted Sherrod at the time because he said he's going to bury the label Rust Belt. He's going to bury the label Rust Belt. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania, and we used to, from Scranton all the way through Ohio and all the way across the Midwest, be the manufacturing citadel of the world. Today, we're joined by leaders of some of the biggest manufacturers in the country: GE, Siemens Energy, Honeywell, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, to announce a new initiative that going to bury that label for good, the Rust Belt.
And so what you're hearing is this is not manufacturing of the past with the assembly lines and the steel mills and things that we've seen in the past. This is much more efficient and clean, and it's no coincidence that we're just a stone's throw from Butler Tech, where the next generation of manufacturers and those that work in this field are being built up here in our area. This really was a bipartisan effort, and the president is hoping that they can get a bipartisan effort together with the Innovation Act to get to his desk so that he can sign it. Up the road, there was small groups of protesters who gathered outside of the event at a nearby gas station. They said they want the president to see the true cost of his policies. And WLWT News 5's Karen Johnson is live with more on what they had to say. Karen?
Well, hey, Ashley, I'm outside of the business on the other end from you, and this is where a group of several dozen people gather just to kind of get a glimpse of the motorcade coming and going. We had a mix of protesters. There were some supporters out here as well, but it was around the corner where we saw some people really making some noise. Americans for Prosperity set up shop at the Thorntons on Route 4 in Fairfield, talking to people about what the group called failed policies and the true cost of Washington. Gas prices topped their conversation. They said since Biden took office, the average price of gas in Ohio jumped 71%. As they talked about the pain at the pump, they handed out gas cards and asked people to share stories about how high gas prices are impacting them.
So he goes business to business, right, making sales in the healthcare industry, and the price of gas, right, him getting to each sales call has gotten more and more expensive every month that we let these policies go through. He's truly paying more and getting less, and if he's not passing that on to his customers, he's eating it.
Meanwhile, back here live, like I was saying, there was maybe about 30 or so people out here. You know, you had some protesters holding Trump flags, you had Biden supporters, and then you had people who said, you know what? I don't really care about the politics. I just want to witness the motorcade. I've never seen a motorcade. So everyone out here getting along, very peaceful. Reporting live tonight, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5. Ashley Stevens, send it back to you.
Karen, thank you. And no doubt, anytime the president is in town, it is a spectacle with the motorcade and the traffic. And the president also passing by gas stations, Stephen, where I saw gas in this area at 4:15. But he sees this program, the additive manufacturing as well as the Innovation Act, as a way to really stop the economic bleeding that we're seeing in our economy right now. Stephen, I'll toss it back to you.
And Ashley, it was so striking to see, both a Republican and a Democrat and the Ohio senators both there standing together behind the president, hoping to get this legislation passed, which all three of them say will be helping us in the future if it gets passed. Ashley, thanks so much. We'll see you a little bit later on.